Most people want more in life, more success, more money, more respect, more peace. But there is one thing they don't understand. You do not gather what you desire. You gather what you sow, and what you sow is found in your mind. Your mind is not a passive place where things just happen. It is a field on which whatever you plant will grow, whether you like it or not. If excuses grow, boundaries appear. If you sow complaints, suffering will grow. But if you sow discipline, strength will grow. Here's a truth most do not want to hear. You cannot have a weak mind and expect a strong life. You cannot give in to every stray, useless thought that passes through your head and expect to become invincible. It simply does not work. If your mind is like a river, where is it flowing? Toward doubts and fear, or toward control, clarity, and determination? For that river carries away everything you are, and if you do not learn to steer it, it will carry you to places you never wished to be. Today, we will talk about how to forge a strong mind, not through beautiful phrases or empty theory, but through real principles and mental practices that you can apply every day. A strong mind is not a gift. It is built, and if you are not willing to build it, don't complain about what you reap. If your mind is like a river, make sure it flows in the direction you want. Your mind never stands still. It is not a lake or a puddle. It is a constantly moving river that can lead you either to success or to destruction, depending entirely on its course. The problem is, most people don't even realize they are adrift. You wake up, and the first thing you do is check your phone, absorbing useless news and getting lost in social media. From the very start of the day, your river is already flowing in the wrong direction. Then you feel anxiety, you don't move forward, and everything seems beyond your control. Because if you do not consciously choose where your mind goes, someone else will do it for you. Your environment, the people you talk to, the content you consume, and the thoughts you allow all determine the direction of your river. If you don't control this, you will find yourself in a place you never wanted to be. Every action you repeat, every decision you allow in your head, every feeling you nurture becomes a seed that will eventually grow. If you fill your mind with doubts and fear, you will reap insecurity. You cannot expect discipline if all you have sown is procrastination. You cannot expect success if all you have sown are excuses to avoid moving forward. Most people don't even realize what they are sowing. They think that thoughts are merely fleeting and without consequence, but in reality, they either strengthen or weaken you. They either bring you closer to where you want to be or push you further away. The problem is that many people cultivate a rotten mental soil filled with weeds, negativity, fear, and doubt, and then they wonder why their lives are stuck in the same cycle. The answer is simple: they are sowing that which bears no fruit. A farmer knows that if he wants a good harvest, he must prepare the soil, choose the best seeds, and protect his crop from pests. The same applies to your mind. If you want different results, you must uproot what does not serve you, stop feeding what weakens you, and begin planting that which strengthens you. This means you cannot afford to think like a weak person. If you want to be strong, do not allow thoughts of victimhood to take root. If you want to be invincible, do not spend your days complaining about what you lack. If you want to build something great, do not let uncontrolled seeds grow into part of your reality. You cannot control the world, but you can control what you allow into your head. That is the difference between being swept along by the current and being the one who directs it. If you let your mind flow unchecked, you will end up somewhere you don't want to be. Take control, steer it toward where you want to go. A river without direction simply follows its current, and in this world, following the current leads to mediocrity. Every day you have a choice. Either consciously direct your mind in the right direction, or let external factors do it for you. Either you take control, or your thoughts control you. Every thought is a seed. Decide what kind of harvest you want to reap. If your life today isn't the way you want it to be, stop asking why and start noticing what you are sowing. What you think will eventually become who you are. Do not search for answers outside yourself. They are within you. We are taught to look for answers in the advice of others, in books full of theories, in signs that supposedly point us in the right direction. But that is a convenient lie. There is no ready-made guide or guru with the key to your existence. The only person who truly knows what you need, what you want, and what you must do is you. Looking inside yourself is not easy, not because it is impossible, but because it is uncomfortable. The one who sits in silence and listens to themselves soon comes to a harsh truth. The reason he does not move forward is not the lack of knowledge, but the avoidance of action. It is much easier to get distracted, to search for external answers, to consume content that echoes what you already know. From a young age, we are conditioned to ask for permission, to follow instructions, and to depend on the approval of others. We are programmed to ignore our own voice, to fear our instincts, to believe that someone else always knows better. Thus, people drown in a sea of others' opinions, while the truth remains inside, waiting to be heard. They do not wait for signs or seek external approval. They do not need someone to tell them what to do. They sit in silence, analyze reality with clarity, and act without doubts, without waiting for the world's permission. Building a strong mind requires cutting out external noise and trusting your own judgment. Clarity comes as distractions diminish. Deep down, every person knows what the next step should be, what they truly want, and which decisions they must make. The only thing that holds them back is indecision, fueled by a dependence on external answers. Answers are not found in the opinions of others, not in books full of theories, nor in external circumstances. They are within you, in silence, in self-analysis, in being brutally honest with yourself. Mental strength begins when you stop seeking outside what has always been inside. You do not need the world to give you signs. Learn to read them. Many spend their lives waiting for something that will never come. They sit, look up at the sky, and search on every corner for confirmation, a sign that the time for action has arrived. But life does not send warnings, does not provide certainty, and does not light the path with neon lights. Those who wait lose out. The worst part is that the signs have been there all along, not as miracles or perfect coincidences, but in repeated mistakes, in the frustration you feel every time you postpone a decision, in the missed opportunities, and in the sleepless nights when your mind screams that something must change. Instead of listening, most choose to ignore them, pretending not to understand, justifying inaction by needing more time, more certainty, or more approval. Accepting the truth means there are no more excuses, and most are not ready for that. Fear is a sign of discomfort, a sign of stagnation. Everything that causes inner turmoil is life signaling that something must change. But instead of acting, people seek distractions, convincing themselves that the perfect moment will eventually come, as if one day the path will clear and uncertainty will vanish. True individuals do not wait for external approval. They do not search for signs because they know that life is rarely clear or predictable. They understand that the opportunities have always been here. They just need to be recognized. What separates those who move forward from those who remain behind is the ability to see the signs, to accept what is obvious even when it is uncomfortable, and to begin moving with what is already there. If your body is constantly tired, it is a sign that something is wrong. If every day passes without real progress, it is a sign. If there is an idea, dream, or goal that never leaves your mind but never comes to fruition, it is a sign. And if fear arises every time you consider change, that is the biggest sign of all. For fear does not appear where there is comfort. It appears where growth happens. No one will give you ready-made answers or point out the next step. Those who wait for external confirmation remain stagnant. Those who learn to read life, interpret their discomfort, and act even without absolute certainty, move forward. The problem is not the signs themselves, but the inability to accept them, the cowardice of waiting for an external push. When deep down everything is already clear, the perfect moment never arrives because life has already spoken. You must choose. Do you listen, or do you continue to pretend that you do not understand the message? Words create reality. What you say to yourself becomes the truth. Excuses may seem small and harmless. Today is not the time. I don't have enough experience. I'll do it tomorrow. But these phrases, like tiny seeds, eventually grow and fill every space. The problem is not in enduring failure, not in falling or making bad decisions, but in justifying inaction, convincing yourself that there is a valid reason not to try. For it is then that true damage occurs. You miss opportunities and reinforce a world where you remain weak. Phrases like, "I'm not the risk taker," "I'm not good enough," "I can't succeed like others," become dogma, and over time you begin to believe in your own failure. An athlete does not stop training because his body hurts. A warrior does not give up because he is tired. An architect does not abandon his work. Those who do not wait for the perfect moment need no guarantees and ask for no permission. They know that the greatest trap of the mind is the excuse. Those who look for excuses see in every obstacle a reason to stop. Society teaches us that everything must be perfect, that conditions must be ideal, but history was never written by those who waited for perfect circumstances. It was written by those who acted. The one who spends life justifying inaction builds invisible barriers. He creates with words what he later cannot tear down with actions. Success requires sacrifice, and worse than failure is convincing yourself that you could not even try. If you sow excuses, you will reap limitations. But if you sow determination, you will reap a version of yourself you never dreamed possible. The past is an illusion. The present is the only real instrument. The past is a story your mind continuously rewrites. An imprecise record, an illusion created by memory and distorted by emotion. Most people live in the past, as if looking back could change what was done or not done, achieved or lost, fair or unfair. None of that holds real weight in the present. Unless you assign it value yourself, the past will not stop you. It will only serve as an excuse for inaction. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. The only reality that matters is what is happening right now. The past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. Every second of the present is an opportunity you will never get back. Clinging to the past is like trying to hold water in your hands, no matter how tightly you squeeze. Do not cling to old victories or failures. True strength lies in using the past as a lesson, not as an anchor that holds you back. Ask yourself, what can you do right now to move forward? For dwelling on the past solves nothing in the present. Time moves in only one direction, and life continues to move forward. The only question is, will you move forward with it or stand by and watch? If you want clarity and true control over your life, stop giving weight to the story of what was and start writing the story of what is happening now. The only thing that truly exists is this moment. If you master your internal dialogue, you will conquer the external world. What you think, what you repeat to yourself, becomes the blueprint for what is built in reality. If the design is weak, the structure will be fragile. If the design is solid, nothing will be able to break it. Most people lose the battle before they even take a step because they do not take responsibility for their thoughts. Sometimes everything seems too complicated, and you wonder, what will others think? But that inner voice destroys more lives than any external obstacle. It is not the lack of opportunities or an unjust world. It is internal self-sabotage, a psychological war that many are not even aware they are fighting. If you tell yourself that you are a loser, you will act like one. If you tell yourself that you have no choice but to move forward, you will indeed move forward. Your mind is a tool, but like any tool, it can be used for building or for destruction. The one who does not control their internal dialogue controls nothing. However, the one who masters their mind shapes their world in their own image. If you haven't found peace within yourself, the external world will never provide it. Peace is not about what you have, what you've achieved, or what surrounds you. It is a decision. If you do not find it within, you will not find it anywhere. Thank you for watching. If you have watched until this moment, write, "I am a Stoic" in the comments, our secret sign, so we know you are a true follower of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. If you enjoyed it, see you in the next one, and remember, keep developing your inner self.